Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you yet again. This is actually my real voice. Yeah. Not using Voice Maker IN today. Just me. Just your good old Dave here. Glad to have you here. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a recent episode using voicemaker.in, and I was able to turn myself into a, 20-ish sounding girl, and I also turned myself into a bunch of other voices, and it's really a fun tool. So go check it out, voicemaker.in, and go have some fun with your voice. Do something creative in your show. Try it. You'll love it. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about, well, as much as I would love to be the best example to you of what perfection is, that's not possible because, as my wife will attest, she has a list, by the way, I am not a perfect person. I know. That's shocking to you. I know. So recently I got email from a good friend who is in our meetups and everything, and you know who you are, and reached out and said, Dave, something's up with your latest episode. It's really weird. Like there's this weird echo. No, this weird thing happening in the background. And I went and listened, and lo and behold, guess what I did? I uploaded the wrong audio for that episode. Yep. And as soon as I realized it, it was like, yeah, no prizes for Dave. No. And it's interesting because when I fixed it, I let the person know kindly. I said, thank you for reminding me that I uploaded the wrong audio. Great. So I emailed them back and they're like, yeah, but it's still on my phone. And I'm like, yeah. So there's something that happens when we upload our podcast to the world. And it might happen to you. It may have already happened to you if you've been doing this for a while. Good chance you've done this, or you will. Sorry, but you probably will end up doing this at some point. I did. And what's happened is, Dave, your good friend Dave here, from the How to Podcast series, I uploaded the wrong audio. And when that happens, your audio goes out to your audience, and your audience consumes your audio for your podcast in many different ways. Some people follow the show. Some people will have the podcast automatically downloaded to your phone. It depends on your app. It depends on your phone. It depends on a bunch of different things. There's the potential, though, that people will have that episode where the error is and you can't do anything about it. Even if you replace the audio with the correct audio, which I did right away, I did. But I did have a big chunk of my audience had already listened to the bad audio version. Sorry. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's on your phone. And so my advice to this person was go listen on a different app because it should be updated momentarily. It does take a little bit to kind of filter through all the different places, but yeah. My podcast is already linked to YouTube as well, so that meant the YouTube version also had the bad audio as a direct upload, which is not a good look or a good sound in this case. So I had to go and pull that file down off of YouTube, re-upload my thing to my hosting site, which connects back to YouTube, and YouTube will get an refreshed audio version later. Just not the type of thing you want to see after working a night shift on your way to bed because you've been up for 12 hours. Then you got to come back to the computer and fix all this crap. You're like, come on. So anyways, that's what happens. So lesson learned, everyone, even after, 2,000 episodes, you're bound to make a mistake somewhere. So I wanted to kind of go through what you can do if you make a mistake so that when it does happen, and it might, you can come back here and kind of follow these steps to fix it and find a little comfort that we're all human. And it can happen to the best and worst of us equally. So here, let's jump in. We're going to talk about what you can do when you make a mistake on your podcast and how to fix a huge error. So stick with me and hopefully we don't screw this up. Here we go. I can guarantee you a few things in life. Taxes. Canada, we love our taxes. Oh my gosh. Taxes. Oh, good Lord. We have death and we have screwing up your podcast. Those are probably the top 3 that all of us as podcasters are going to experience at some point. So hopefully the death part will be a long time from now. But the other 2 are going to happen regularly and most likely to happen soon. So let's talk about what happens when you make a mistake in your podcast. And even the most experienced podcast hosts, I wouldn't say I'm the most experienced, but I've been doing this for a little bit. But there's other people who have been doing this for like 20 plus years, and I still hear them drop the ball here and there. Whenever you've released the wrong audio edit, you've left in long gaps of silence or an extended podcast episode that was meant to be 30 minutes, but we forgot this one little audio clip at the very end of your show 4 hours later. So you got this huge gap at the end of it. You're like, goodbye, everybody. And then there's silence for like 2 hours because you forgot to delete that little clip way far off your screen. And your audience is like, is my phone broken? Like, why is it not going to the next episode? Oh no, I've got 2 hours of nothing. So yeah, any of these things can happen to you. And the one thing I could have done better in this situation was, again, I normally do this, to listen back to my episode. But in the moment, I'm like, I'm going to move on with the next thing. 9 podcasts and all. And I just missed it. So listening to your own episode, you can do it even before it goes live through your hosting site. There's a way to play the episode. It's not even live on Apple and Spotify. You can go in your hosting site and hit play and listen to it in advance. It's a good way. Or you can have somebody else listen to it for you. My wife, Jen, listens to my Living in Next Chapter podcast in advance so that I don't screw up and it sounds good to her. And that's a great way to have somebody in your corner that helps you. She doesn't listen to all 9 of my podcasts, just the one. That's enough with the amount that we're doing here. So find somebody in your corner that'll help you, another podcaster, listen to each other's shows, swap it out. I don't know, but have a buddy, have a podcast buddy. It's a good idea. Again, I don't think every podcaster should ever podcast alone. That's when mistakes happen and that's when motivation flies out the window. So get a buddy, get a podcast buddy. I'll take you on. I'll be your buddy anytime. Reach out. Sometimes people forget to erase the curse words in your podcast if that's not how you do your show. There's a bunch of things we could do or not do, and it's going to cause an error. It's important to know how to respond quickly and professionally to any mistakes you've done. Fess up, own up to the fact that you're a human being, which is expected. And here's how to recover from your podcasting mistakes. I want to talk about that here on the show. First, how to correct a podcasting mistake. Well, first thing you can do is you can go in and replace the audio file on your hosting platform. You're not uploading a brand new episode, so you have 2 of the same episode now. You're overwriting the original audio that you uploaded originally, which is wrong, with a new version. Now, I know on Buzzsprout, when I do this, I will upload the new audio over the old audio, kind of a swap, but then I'll play it and I'll still hear the old audio. So I have to do it a second time. I don't know why it does that often for me on Buzzsprout. So it's worth listening to. Don't just assume that you did all the things correctly. Listen again and make sure that the new audio overwrites the old audio. So you can always go into your hosting site and swap out the audio. It'll still have your show notes, the episode title, the artwork will still be there. Everything's there except the audio will swap. So you can do that before it goes live and after it goes live. No problem. Anytime you can go in there, swap it out. It's really a good idea too if something in your episode from 2 years ago has changed, the website's gone, the person doesn't podcast anymore, the author doesn't write books, somebody says, hey, take that episode down. You can go in and swap it out with a different episode or whatever you want to do. Just remember that when you're going in and playing with your podcasts that are released, there are statistics, analytics, listen time attached to that file. And if you delete it, you lose all of that history. You're not going to get it back. So it's better to go in and swap out audio that's wrong or a mistake that needs to be fixed than to upload a brand new copy and delete the old. There's things attached to the old file that's incorrect that you might want to keep. So swapping out the audio is a great way to do this. If you don't know how to do any of this, howtopodcast.ca. We'll jump on Zoom, screen share. I'll show you exactly what to do. So you don't have to try to do this by yourself. Remember, you need a podcast buddy. Most podcast hosting sites will allow you to get in there and replace the audio for the published episode or the episode that hasn't been released yet. You can upload the corrected file via your host dashboard. This updates your RSS feed if the episode's already live. So new listeners and future downloads will automatically get the new updated corrected version. So you can do that anytime. There's a tip here to change the file name of your new audio from episode 1.mp3, for example, to episode 1-fixed mp3. I would also have the name of the episode in the file name. In some cases, that's a searchable way for some of these search engines to find you, is not just have episode, but actually have the actual episode name in there and maybe do a little extra at the end, like fixed. That might trigger, in some platforms, a new recognition of a new file. It might help you. So keep that in mind. Something to think about. This will help all the other podcast apps update and recognize the change. The second part is to communicate the correction to your audience and to your guest if you had a guest on your show. So you do an error on a guest episode, they see it, they share it with their audience, but it's the wrong episode and they sound goofy. Okay, well, they've already sent it to their community and you're like, oh, crap. So let your guests know, let the audience know. You're going to have to do a little bit of kind of cleanup behind the scenes because of this mistake. Again, better to get in front of it, listen ahead, save yourself a bunch of time going back and communicating all these changes to everybody. It's a little confusing for everybody. For listeners who have auto-downloaded this episode, they still have the original uncorrected file on their device, on their phone, their tablet, whatever. It's living on their phone, and you don't have any way of removing it or replacing it because it's not directly connected to the internet in that situation. It's physically a file on their phone, just like a picture, just like whatever. It's on their phone. You can't get on their phone and replace the old with the new. You can't do it. So just keep that in mind. Use your next episode or a short correctional episode to explain the mistake, which I'm doing right now, and direct your listeners to delete and re-download the updated episode if needed, or jump to another app that they don't normally use because the updated version will be over there. That's one way to get around it. And notify your audience through social media, newsletters, website. See, there's a lot of work that happens when you screw up and make a mistake. Again, not a big deal. It's just going to take a little bit of communication, and you'll stop getting all those emails, which I love, by the way, that say, hey, Dave, there's something wrong here. And the next thing is just simply learn to move forward in this. Just learn and move forward. It's not a matter of if you're going to make a mistake, but when. So don't let these mistakes derail your confidence as a podcaster. Treat errors as a learning opportunity. When you have to go clean up all the mess, you're like, I'm not going to do this again for quite a while, because you see how much work it is to unfix and undo all of this work that you've done. It's a lot of effort. So you'll learn. It's touching the hot stove. You're like, I'm not going to do that again. So learn and move forward. Don't be too hard on yourself. What if you need to remove an episode completely? So Sally is pissed off. She is angry. That episode she did 3 years ago with you might cost her job. Her boss has called her into the office and go, what is this? You were on Dave's How to Podcast and you said something nasty about this company. You're fired. So you're like, oh crap. She reaches out, Dave, please. I'm going to lose my job. I need this job. Please take that episode down. Okay. You can delete an episode. You can also set the episode to go private. So it's basically unlisted, can't be found in the future. Most hosts are going to allow you to delete an episode or set it to a private setting, which removes it from future RSS feed updates. That can happen. You can do that. It'll adjust the directories like Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but note, it could take up to 24 hours. So if they're saying I need it taken down right now, I'm on my phone, I'm refreshing, it's still there, Dave. It can take on some directories up to 24 hours, and her boss might not be really happy with that answer. Just understand that the apps don't respond like that. They kind of take their time sometimes, especially Apple. It might take a while for that episode to fully be removed from those platforms. But, this is a huge but, there's no way to go into everyone's phones around the world who has ever listened to it in the past. So 2-3 years ago, the episode's gone out. All of those people have heard that episode. And some of those people might still have it on their device if they never delete it. You, again, can't get into everybody's phone and delete a file off their phone. So technically, the internet writes in ink. So that episode's going to live somewhere, somehow. And you can't guarantee to anybody that you can wipe that episode off the face of the planet. Something to think about. So keep that in mind. So that's why a lot of podcasters will have a sign-off kind of a thing with their guests saying you have the right to put this out there. If you're talking about something that's super, super serious, or could be put somebody into a liability around comments they've said on a show. If you want to go into politics 5 years from now and you were pretty blatantly obvious with your comments on a podcast in the past, people find these things. That's what happens. The internet writes in ink. So you can always edit it before, but once you hit post, it's out there. So just keep that in mind. Okay, as a guest, as a host, it's out there. So be warned. Can you remove an episode everywhere? You can remove an episode from your feed in major directories, but you cannot guarantee complete removal from every device or third-party site. Listeners who have already downloaded the episode will still have it locally on their device, and some directories may cache content for a while. So it's still living out there. And you can reach out to people, you can ask these hosting sites and player apps to take it down, but to be able to track all that down everywhere, it's pretty overwhelming. So keep that in mind. So key takeaways. Replace the audio file on your host and update the episode title notes and all that to indicate any correction. The best thing you can do is listen to your show in advance and avoid everything we've talked about in this episode. Simply by taking the 30 minutes to listen to your own 30-minute episode, so you know there's nothing terrible. All right? A silence gap, a weird echo, yeah, that's annoying. It's not going to hurt anybody's career. But if you included the pre-chat in the recording and your guest said something that they shouldn't have, not really realizing the mic was hot, and you included it in the episode without their knowledge. I was on a show recently and I came on screen and they were already recording. They didn't tell me. I didn't say anything bad. But I didn't even know that the episode had already started. They were like, well, everybody, Dave's here. And I'm like, whoa, I got really warm. I'm like, what did I just say? Because we were already live and I had no idea. So just keep that in mind. Let your guests know. And listen, we're already recording. So and as well at the end. When you're done, and be like, we're not recording anymore. Whew. Then people can be themselves again. Okay, so just understand that. What happens on the mic and is released It's written in ink, so just keep it in mind. Communicate transparently with your audience about any mistake and how to get the corrected version. Understand that once an episode is downloaded, you can't remove it from every device in the world. It's out there. Deleting or privatizing an episode removes it from your feed for the future. But again, if it's out there and people have listened to it, they've listened to it. You can't take it out of their brain. Deleting it is a great way to deal with it. Replace the audio. All that can be done before or after the mistake is realized. And released. So just keep that in mind. Just the best thing, again, listen to it in advance. Mistakes are part of podcasting. It's a part of our life. It's who we are as humans. It's what makes us better than everything else in the world. We can make mistakes and learn from them. So if you ever make a mistake and you're like, oh my gosh, I think I just broke my podcast, reach out to me. I'd love to help you. We'll go through, we'll talk about it, we'll do some research, and we'll come up with a solution. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Remember, podcasting is something that writes in ink on the internet. You want to make sure that you do your best due diligence in advance to make sure your podcast is serving your audience and it's helping. So that's something to keep in mind. All right. And let's move forward. Let's continue. You got this. Thanks for listening. And if you ever hear me make a mistake on my show, let me know, please. I will not freak out. Well, I will on myself, but I won't freak out on you, and I'm grateful. Because only a small portion of our audience ever reaches out to say, hey, love your show, or hey, Dave, you made a mistake here. So thank you to that person who helped me. I appreciate you. And let's move forward, everybody, and do our best with our show. Listen to your episode before it goes live, and you won't even have to worry about this episode. Thanks for listening. Hey, it's Dave. Again, thank you so much for being here to the very end of the podcast. You're like my bestie. And I just wanted to talk to my bestie for a second. So everybody else who has already left the podcast, they're already gone. So the cars have left the parking lot, and it's just you and me. So I'm going to tell you about an experiment that I'm going to do for the next couple of months, probably for the summer. And I just want you to know nothing's broken. What I'm going to try to do is just go to 2 episodes a week as a test. I've been doing 3 episodes a week for a long time, and daily days and all that other stuff. I'm going to try to go to 2, which will give me a little bit of breathing room. I'm getting clients that I'm editing for right now, and they demand my time to go and do their editing, which means I got to do something to create some space in my calendar, because there's only 7 days, right? So I can't create a new day. I would love to. Call it Dave Day or something. That'd be great. So what I'm doing is going to switch to 2 times a week. So I'm going to do every Monday and every Wednesday. I'm going to also throw in more Daily Daves, which are going to be those really short episodes. So I can still talk to you. I have a ton to talk about. I have probably enough content for the next 2-3 years at 3 episodes a week. I'm not running out of content. I'm not losing my passion for the show. I just have more work coming to me than I know what to do with. And all these great clients that are reaching out going, hey, Dave, can you edit my show? I'm like, yeah. I just need to create some space to do that. So as I navigate all this new season for July and August, at least, Dave's going to switch over to twice a week instead of 3 times a week. Don't be angry. And if you have feedback for me, I'd love to hear it. But I'm going to do more Daily Daves. And if you have any Daily Dave ideas that you want me to cover, short episodes, reach out to me at apodcast.ca. Just want to say thank you. I love that you're here and you're finding value. And I'm here to serve. So 2 episodes a week. See ya.